start.
Good evening and welcome to the Nighttime Heat. The Nighttime Heat is on Prime FM 105.5 and also on Facebook and YouTube. Just type Nighttime Heat and you will find the show and share it with your family and friends. Nighttime Heat is a little over 2 hour nighttime discussion on unfolding events in Liberia. My name is David Tagwed, and I'm still sitting in for lead host, Saba Josh. Shortly, my colleagues will be joining me, and the information I'm getting is that uh, Desmond Wion will not be live in studio; he will be online. Josh Kennedy wouldn't be here today. He's in Grand Bassa County on some personal trip. Hopefully, Moses will join me. Moses is in the diaspora. I'm looking forward to Edwin Family. Hopefully, Edwin will step in to join me on the nighttime heat. Today's Friday, and we have very interesting topical issues here. We'll be talking about Martin Colley. Martin Colley has been in the news for a few days now. He's one of those helping the government or helping the joint security uh, and looking for finding the facts about those who are allegedly linked to the recent seizure of cocaine worth over $300 million. So Martin Colley has been uh, posting. In fact, the latest findings that he has reported is that the the officer in chief of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency is linked to the drug thing, and he has all the evidence. In fact, there's a vehicle. There's a vehicle depicted in the video that Biago has a vehicle, a gray vehicle that was bought for him by the drug cartels. Biago is pushing back the allegations, and we will read Biago's statement. I will read Biago's statement on this edition of the Nighttime Heat. Would also read a portion of Mountain's latest posts on the social media, and the the Roberts International Airport. This is one of the topics. The Roberts International Airport is to be given, if it works, given to a private organization, company, or group, a private institution or private group to take the Roberts International Airport. And that would be a concession with the Liberian government. And so the Roberts International Airport shut there, and it would be for 25 years if that works out. The private institution that will be managing the Roberts International Airport will run it for 25 years, standardize it, make it modern, and make it acceptable to international standards. So the private company, if will be managing the Roberts International Airport, but yet instead the government remains the owner of the Roberts International Airport. Foreign Minister Nyanti, Cyril Besler Nyanti, in recent time came in the news for the wrong reason. Allegations linking him to the same drug cocaine seizure ongoing investigation that he has a link. The foreign ministry has released a statement debunking these allegations against the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Cyril Besler Nyanti. So these some of the issues we'll be talking about this on this edition of the Nighttime Heat. And let me see whether Desmond is already on the line, so that I can formally welcome Desmond. Desmond, welcome. Desmond, welcome to the Nighttime Heat. Okay, Desmond is in there. So also look forward to Moses
David, I'm
joining us.
here. I'm here.
Okay,
Hello.
okay, but Desmond, I'm welcoming you.
Yeah,
You
sorry,
aren't talking.
my
So
mic was.
Desmond, welcome, my brother, and welcome to the Nighttime Heat. And I was taken by surprise when I heard that you would be talking from home.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
hopefully we'll have a good time on the show. So
Sure.
welcome. You like to give your opening remarks? What's on your mind? You like to do that as quick as possible?
Of course. Why not? So,
Okay. So what's on your mind? You heard the topics. You heard the topics, right?
yes, I came a little bit late, but however, I
Okay.
will play
Okay.
the.
So okay, let me go over that. We'll be talking about providing analysis and maybe have a debate uh, over Monty Collins' recent, report is saying that he has all the evidence or pieces of evidence to ensure that Biako, who is the officer in chief of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency, resigns or be dismissed because he has a link to there's an issue about vehicle that he claims or he alleged that Biago got from the cartel or someone who's linked to the ongoing investigation. Another thing we'll be talking about again is Biago has issued a statement, a rebuttal statement, denying the Martin Colley's findings linking him to drug cartel. So we'll be talking about that. If possible, I'll read Biago's statement. I will read the one from Manthing. Uh, and I also talk about the Roberts International Airport at for a 25 year for concession with the Liberian government. I mean, the private Liberian government has agreed to give the Robertson National Airport to any private group or organization, I mean, to take care of it. But the airport will still remain the property of the Liberian government. It's for 25 years. This company, a private group, the private group will modernize the Robertson National Airport and ensure that it meets international standards. So that would be for 25 years. Foreign Minister Nyanti, Cyril Bessler Nyanti, Desmond, I guess you felt okay. I understand Desmond is off, and that I had that fear that we would experience that on the show, that Desmond would always be off. So the foreign minister has issued a statement denying all the allegations. In fact, debunking, let me say, debunking all the allegations brought against or linking her to the cocaine thing we're talking about. So these are the issues we'll be talking about this evening on the nighttime heat. My name is David Tagwe, and shortly I'll be taking the break uh, for a problem I see here. Good evening. This is the Nighttime Heat on Prime FM 105.1. My name is David Tiger with also on Facebook and the YouTube. Just type Nighttime Heat and find Nighttime Heat and share the show with your family and friends. Is Desmond back on the line? Okay, Moses hasn't joined us yet. So let me begin the show by finding first the Martin Collins report so that I can read it to to the public what Martin is saying in in his report. Okay, and I'm still finding what Martin has reported or is reporting regarding the involvement of Mr. Biago Okay, this is it. Breaking news. Release. Breaking news. The cocaine cartel infiltrated. This is the what Monty Colliers has written. He's a political activist, or he's an activist. Martin Collier. This is what he has released. He said the cocaine cartel infiltrated and neutralized national security. LDA boss Biago conspired to cover up, facilitate, aid, and abet drug traffickers in exchange for gifts, cash, and kind. And we just returned from our break due to family obligations, and we are now turning on the national security of Liberia. Let's begin with the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency. Let me start from here. National security of the Liberia. Okay, let's begin with the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, LDA. The main capon of the drug cartel in Liberia is George Wa Harris, popularly known as Leroy Harris, the owner and CEO of Private Bar Nightclub. His real name is not Leroy Harris. His real name is George Wa Harris. The government recently arrested and charged him with multiple drug related crimes in connection with the US 370 million drug bust. The cocaine cartel through Leroy Harris has since been having direct link with top national security agents and some higher ups in government, including the acting boss of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, the Deputy Police Commissioner Fitzgerald T.M. Biago. DCP Biago was recommended to serve as the officer in charge of the LDA and Police Inspector General, Colonel Gregory Coleman. Biago has been and is operating with two cars in his convoy. Okay, this is the very important point. He is operating with two cars in his convoy, a black Jeep and a gray pickup since his appointment to the LDA. The black Jeep is a government-owned vehicle that was donated by President Boakai along with 14 other cars. 12 white Toyota Hilux pickups and two white Jeeps when Biago took over. Now, let everyone pay key attention, please. As attached, the gray Toyota Hilux pickup that DCP Fitzgerald Biago uses and operates is not a government-owned pickup. Then who owns it? It was gifted to him by the drug cartel through Josh Wa Harris, allies Leroy Harris. We are going to provide evidence for everyone to clearly see. So this is what Martin Colley has written. Okay, so let's go to the video. I think we have a video on that. Play me the video, AB.
For custody, and if they are being charged, they will go through serving their legal charges that's been placed against them. So they are saying that no big name will be swept on a carpet. He said that no big name will be swept under the carpet. Keep coming in the comment section. Promise to read some of your comments. What do you make of the joint security operation here? And Liberians here in this part of Carisbrooke are standing, witnessing the huge convoy passing through their community, their town. Keep coming in the comment section. Promise to read some of your comments. And this person here says, you're just fooling yourself. And you say you're fooling us. The plenty jokes you sees that Liberians are always interesting.
So that's a convoy there, and the gray vehicle in question is also in that convoy. And this is the gray vehicle that Martin Colley is alleging that was bought for Biago, or given to Biago by someone who is related to the guy who owns the private bar. Is the one that received the pickup, the gray pickup, and gave it to Biago to use. And so Biago has some link with the cartel. Now Biago has also reacted. So after having read Martin Colley's statement, let me read Biago's reaction. This is LDOIC Fitzgerald T.M. Biago writes, fellow Liberians, my attention has been drawn to a publication circulating on social media containing serious allegations against me and my leadership of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, LDEA. I categorically reject these allegations as false, misleading, and without credible evidence. Throughout my career, I have served this country with integrity, professionalism, and an unwavering commitment to the rule of law. I have never accepted any gift, favor, or benefit from any individual or criminal organization in exchange for compromising my duties. I remain fully prepared to cooperate with any lawful, independent, and impartial investigation, as I am confident that the truth will prevail through due process rather than speculation or misinformation. As officer in charge of the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, my focus remains steadfast on leading the fight against illicit drugs and dismantling criminal networks that threaten the peace and security of our nation. I urge all Liberians to exercise caution against the spread of unverified information and to allow the appropriate legal institutions to establish the facts where necessary. I remain committed to transparency, accountability, and the faithful discharge of my responsibilities. And I assure the Liberian people that neither false accusations nor intimidation will deter me or the LDA from fulfilling our mandate to protect the Republic of Liberia. So this is written by officer in charge, Fitzgerald Biago, who has been accused by Martin Colley in this allegation. The Martin says he's determined. He remains unwavering. He will pursue the matter against Mr. Biago or Officer Biago, that no matter what Biago does or whatever clarification it provides, Biago has a link, and there's no way that he can go free. Biago has not reacted, debunking Mountain's claim and challenging him to provide evidence. And that brings me to uh, a recent statement from the chief, not the chief justice, the minister of justice of Council of Oxford Tour, who said that the joint security is not in the business of just arresting people, going after people on the basis of of uh, of allegations or rumors, uh, or gossips in the street. The justice minister has categorically stated that whatever allegation people are making or allegations they're making must be accompanied by evidence. The joint security or the Liberian government under Joseph Boakai is not in the business of going after people because somebody somewhere says the person is involved. So the allegations should be accompanied by evidence. Let me welcome attorney at law, Edwin Famula. Edwin, it's a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Tawe. My apology. I've been under the weather the past few days, so I've missed the show for almost 4 days. And I even, in fact, I shouldn't have been here tonight. But when I was listening to the program and I heard that you're the only lone person in the studio,
Yeah.
I just decided to pop in because I have a very important program coming up on Monday, which is the opening of the courts. I'm supposed to be in Kipman. In fact, that's my official admission day
Yeah, okay.
on August 10th. So I was supposed to be going to Kipman tonight, but I just postponed it to go Monday morning. Early in the morning, I drive from here to Rabba Sport and then I come right back after the program.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm glad to be here, and I want to say a big thank you to the guys, to Desmond, who committed himself, to Kennedy, Brother Kennedy. I don't know whether Moses has been joining you guys. Yeah, but I'm glad that I'm glad that we've been able to hold the show even in the absence of our lead host.
Yeah.
And we should keep doing this for the betterment and the good of our people.
Thank you, Edwin. And so I was talking about Edwin. I think Desmond is back. Okay, Desmond, welcome back.
Thank you, David. Thank you. It's great to be back.
And what is that? Where is it coming from? It's coming from me. It's okay. Sorry, I can't talk to anybody now. Desmond, welcome back on the show.
Yeah, thank you, David. It's great to be back. Thank you.
Okay, Desmond. So I was asking you what's on your mind and what you think you'd like to talk outside of what we have listed for discussion.
Well, basically, is the fact that up to now, this strange vessel that came from Liberian waters, and the government has yet to any follow updates. The last update we heard from the government was that the vessel were engaged while they were making some attempt to reach to the reportedly distressed vessel. The vessel was seen, engaged into high sea. And as a matter of fact, the boat they were using does not have the capacity to withstand the waves of the sea at high level. So they have to retreat. And that does not answer the question. That does not erase the speculation in the minds of the Liberian people. Liberian people still deserve answer as to whether that vessel, and given the fact that Makuya had reached the Liberian Maritime Authority, as the government reached out to Makuya, follow investigate to know as to whether this vessel he wrote about that being distressed, and the government tried to make effort in terms of providing refuge. The vessel, standing its length at high sea. So Makuya could be investigated at the moment to tell the government and to tell the Liberian people whether the vessel now has received some level of help outside of the Liberian government, or which Makuya wrote the Maritime Authority. So these are integrated questions that are wrenching into the minds of Liberians, and I think it's
okay. So that's what on your mind. Thank you very much, Edwin. Is anything on your mind, Edwin?
Well, basically, no, not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was talking about before. I guess you said you were following from whom?
Yes, I know. I follow all the talking points.
So you follow all the talking points. So and now currently we're talking about what is first on our agenda. Is we're talking about these exchanges that
Between Martin Collin.
Martin Collin and Fitzgerald,
Fitzgerald.
the officer in charge of the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency. First, just yesterday, we were on the show, and we started reading that Martin said at 9 o'clock, 9:30 yesterday, he would have released his evidence, and we look forward to that. Unfortunately, we didn't get it until we. But however, Martin has already come up with what he said he has against Fitzgerald Biago as head of and the report really particularized a grave pickup. I mean, the main focus is a grave pickup that is in the convoy, or reportedly in the convoy of Biago. Mountain claims that pickup, that grave pickup, was owned by this guy, this private bar guy.
Mhm.
And the private bar guy was given a pickup maybe from proceeds on cocaine or drugs from the cartels. And the private bar fellow is now on an investigation. He's one of the suspects now. How come he allegedly got that vehicle from the cartel, and he's given a pickup, and the pickup is being used by the officer in charge of the LDA? That suggests that the LDA boss or acting boss or officer in charge is linked. Now, Biago is saying it's a blatant lie. I have nothing to do with that, and I challenge you to provide the evidence. So this is where we are.
Well, basically, those are allegations, and allegations are the facts. Martin is a friend, and I follow him, even his online newspaper, the Verity newspaper. And Martin sometimes goes deep into investigating these things. In fact, when the whole issue of the $90 million drug box happened at the RIA, Martin was one person who was posting CCTV footage, of the way the vehicle got, the vehicle that brought in the drugs, how it was offloaded. And in fact, he even started pinpointing people, even the vehicle number, everything. However, up until the owner of private bar was arrested, there was no clue that he was involved with, quote unquote, this whole cocaine trade or so. Be as it may, we are all somewhere interconnected. So even if at that point in time, when he was not, into the limelight as being, part of the cartel, and assuming but not admitting that he gave a vehicle to Fitzgerald, as just maybe a gift to say, okay, I'm giving this to the LDA
to help.
What is wrong in that? At that time, no one knew whether he was into drugs.
He was into drugs.
It was just literally when the whole $370 million drugs board came out, that now people started to, identify people, and then he got linked. However, be it, that does not in any way indicate that the LDA boss is, engaged with drug trafficking or is part of the cartel.
Edwin, that is similar to what happened when the vice president was singing a photograph with,
of course,
one of the I think the suspects,
who
knows one of the suspects,
and
he was drawn into the picture. That's also
I don't care how we post this thing, right, David? We are all somewhere how related. We all interact with each other. This guy, Marco, the guy from the airport, I've been to his house because a colleague of mine in the law school, we're friends, having birthday, we go straight to the place. We're all friends. We don't know what they're engaged with. We all believe that these are young people that wake up in the morning, they're honestly working, going to work or so. So when they get into problem, does that in any way means that we are part and parcel of, whatever it is that they are in? In fact, even some of these people, even their own spouses, don't know what they're involved with. They live in the same house, they sleep on the same bed. They don't know what extra thing that they are involved with. And Liberians are not the kind of inquisitive type that wants to deep into what the person is doing.
Yeah.
Sometimes even your partners want to give you privacy. They will not ask you, where did you get the money from to start building that big house? Where did you get the money from to buy the car? For them, they feel that, look, this person honestly wake up every morning, he say he working here and there. So my thing is that even if this guy gifted a pickup, say, oh, or you just coming in and there are difficulties with, logistics for the LDA, here is a pickup that I'm not using, or I have no use for it, you can use it. Does that in any way means that he's supporting drug cartel? Like I say, we are all friends. We are all interrelated. We all mingle. We sit with each other, but deep down we don't know what you're doing. So if the person is caught, that in no way implicate me because I took gift from the person, or I went to the person's house and ate, or we're seeing sitting somewhere. So no.
Well, it's something that Biako mentioned in his statement, that he did not receive any pickup from a drug cartel.
That's
any drug cartel.
Mhm.
If anyone received the pickup from the cartel, he did not authorize that. What does that imply?
That's why I said assuming but not admitting. Now that Biago himself has spoken that he did not receive any vehicle from anybody.
If somebody in the
LDA received anything,
he did not authorize.
He does not authorize.
So
it.
that is to say, he's saying that the gray pickup is actually in his convoy.
No. What he's saying, there could be a gray pickup in the convoy, and that gray pickup may not be the gray pickup that Martin Colley is referring to. Because I see he even put in license plates and blah blah blah.
The license plate.
But however, right? Like Biago said, I've not even read Biago's statement. I actually follow.
I just read it.
Yes, I actually follow what Martin Colley wrote, right? And Biago came back and said, look, if there's any gray pickup, I'm not aware of it. And Biago is not the only person who runs the LDA. There was another deputy there who was suspended by the president, right?
Okay.
So how sure are we that maybe he brought the vehicle?
Okay, Edwin, I'll come back to you. Let me go to Desmond. Desmond, I guess you stay on the line.
Yeah. So, David, this is a very contentious issue, and I want us to look at it very carefully. Yesterday on the show, said the more that the investigations continue to suggest members of the security agency, especially with this case under precision, this LDA boss, it creates more room for even the Inspector General to be indicted. Yes, I said that on the show. Now let's address the big fish in the water.
And how do you call it, Desmond? The Inspector General to be what? Prosecuted?
To be more
indicted. To be indicted in the case, right?
Oh, it's in ongoing investigations.
Just on the basis of mere allegation.
That's what I'm saying. This what bring about investigations? The allegation. Where there is allegation, it is required for investigation to take place. And you listen to the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General. He said, where there are probable cause, but also where there are concerns, they will invest. Where there are probable cause, they will charge and forward that person to court.
No. The Justice Minister said. Desmond, I will come. Just give me a chance. Let me clarify something, because I read the Justice Minister's statement. The Justice Minister said the government or the joint security will not just go after people, arresting people and calling them for investigation, because somebody says on Broad Street and says the person is linked. The Justice Minister was categorical. He said it. So it's a different thing you're talking about.
So no, that's not a different thing. Martin Colley has provided pieces of evidence to sustain his claims against the ORC of LDA. Is that the normal thing? What's somebody just saying and say, oh, the person is linked, It's different.
But what Martin claims are his evidence or pieces of evidence would have to be verified. Have they been verified?
That's what I'm saying. How does it get verified? It got to be investigated. It's got to be investigated. So, but one of the things that the OIC did not address in his response, which is very, I mean, I see it laughably to be some very lazy response. There is some precise issues Martin claims. Martin is talking about great pickup being gifted to you, after which you were appointed as the OIC for that place by a fellow who is now being reported as one of the lead suspects into the 319 million drug bust. Now, Martin displayed the license plate of the vehicle, the registration of the vehicle, in whose name the vehicle is being registered. These are contentious issues. And then you, as the OIC, coming to provide response, you wanted to say, "Oh, I have not, received any gift for anybody." But one thing he failed to address is that whether he confirmed or denied any great pickup in a convoy. That thing is when people didn't get that clarity from him. Whether there's a great pickup in a convoy and who gifted him that great pickup, whether he bought it by government resources, that these are some of the basic clarification that the OIC would have provided for his response. I listened to the whole thing, it's just one could describe as, I don't want to say something being very persuasive in terms of swaying away the public from the real issues. The man accusing you that you receive great pickup from, now we know somebody to be a drug suspect. And you go to give response or clarity to that issue. You don't talk about the real issue. You're talking about, oh, you have not received gifts, and you are since your entire service in the Liberian security sector has been based on integrity and honesty. All the things they're talking about, I mean, it is not the major issues there, David. The major issues, I'm quite sure that it is now time the LDA should address this with clarity and purpose.
So Desmond. There are people who saying that if Mountain means well, or Martin Colley means well, he should have channel whatever he say he has as evidence through the joint security. And not come on the social media. I mean, no one, I know it's a right to post on social media, but there are people who are saying that if Martin means well, instead of making hero of himself, he should have given the findings linking Biago to the joint security, or people who are doing the investigation, then coming up to almost be indicting the officer in charge of the LDA based on the evidence he claims he has.
That is two functions. Apparently, Martin knows very well that the evidence he has is undiluted, and what are coming to the public, it does not change anything, does not take away anything. Another version could be, apparently Martin does not have that explicit confidence in the entire investigation or the team of the investigation to say, look, I will go behind closed door to supply the evidence to the prosecutor.
Okay, Desmond, I will come back to you. Okay, so Mr. Famule, I will come back to you, Desmond. Mr. Famule, what do you say about
this issue of thinking that the code of public opinion, sometimes some of these issues are very, very how do I call it? Sometimes it leads nowhere, and then people start putting sentiment into it. And you're 100% right. If you have evidence, there is a witness protection unit now being created by the Ministry of Justice. You could put all of your information together and pass it on to the Ministry of Justice. You can write the minister proper. You have access to his office. You have emails, address. You can send those pieces of evidence to say, look, I think there is a need to caution the LDA boss to find out how this vehicle got, into his convoy. What is it that he knows about? Because, first of all, the issue about a gift given to someone, right? I don't want to see the criminality. I want to see the criminalities in there, And I said it previously, assuming and not even admitting that this was a gift given to Biago maybe 2 years ago or 1 year ago, right? At that point in time, there was no $90 million drug bust. There was no $370 million drug bust. So let's say even this guy gave Biago such a vehicle. Say, look, Chief, I see you coming around the place. You need to have,
Very good.
a vehicle. I have a pickup here. You can take it. There was no crime committed, irrespective of he now being in the dreadnet.
Yeah.
To say, okay, yes, we try to investigate it. And still, let's have one thing at the back of our mind. Everybody named to be involved with this crime, they are assumed innocent until proven guilty before a court of competent jurisdiction. That's what our Constitution says. It's clear that they are presumed innocent. So irrespective of what you say, until we can go to court and the court find them guilty, they're still innocent.
Okay, Matt. Okay, Edwin. Let me go to Desmond.
So,
Desmond.
David, I understood everything. I just hope that you'll be very patient enough to give me the time I deserve. So let me just one.
Yeah, you can always get time, but you always making it long. We need summary.
We're talking about Biago, then you go join a police director.
Yeah. I want you to summarize what you are talking about. You want to make it think. Okay, go ahead. I will add it there. That 1 minute I use, I will add it there.
My co-panel talking about he wants to see the criminality in gifting, somebody gifting a gift to official or government or better still security apparatus.
Well, the person was not indicted.
Let's start. There is no crime. In fact, it is not a crime for a government official to receive gifts from private citizen. Once there is no strings attached, once there is no cost for the gift, it only becomes a crime where the gift is being gifted for a particular reason. And if for any reason investigation have established the person who has gifted that gift is allegedly linked to drug cartel, then what comes to mind is that of all the security apparatus, the young man only decided to give gift, only the LDA commander. Why ain't gonna give the gift? Why ain't gonna give that picker to NS? Why ain't gonna give it to fire service? Why ain't gonna give it to even the police?
If the men speak up, you want to decide who he gives it to. It's a night that's proper. He determines who deserves it at a particular time and who doesn't. So because he didn't give it to fire service, he didn't give it to the police or the immigration. So no one else should receive it.
That is not what my argument implies. I'm saying to you, for the fact that this young man was so selective, very purposeful.
That still doesn't make it criminal.
As to who he wants to give his gift, especially a vehicle, to the LDA that is responsible to fight drugs, and it is being reported that the young man is linked to drug cartel. Then he's saying that there is no criminality in there.
They didn't know at that time.
He's allegedly linked to drugs.
So that is what I'm saying, my man. The same thing he's trying to.
You said the man linked to drugs.
So you are saying that Biago is actually linked to the cocaine.
So there's a report that suggests from Martin Post that the ORC received a pickup from the brother who is now being alleged for drug activity in our country.
Is there any evidence to show that the vehicle are given to the ORC?
I'm quoting Martin. Martin has displayed the registration of the vehicle in the guy who is now referred to as Leroy Harris, in the guy's name. Now it is being also confirmed by the video footages that we have watched. The great vehicle, the great pickup is in the convoy of the LDA. And this is where the LDA is on a serious obligation to clarify as to whether there's a great pickup in that convoy or if not. And if it is so, then who gifted that great pickup? Was it procured by taxpayer money, or was it gifted by one of our donor partners? As we saw all the time, they gifted about brand new, about 6 to 7 brand new pickups of Toyota Hilux to the LDA to boost mobility. So that's a major question, man. It's not just accusing the OIC from the anti-accusation. It is rooted in specificity as to the ORC allegedly received a great pickup from the guy who is now being reported as
Desmond. Desmond.
Correction, Desmond. The Toyota Hilux were not given by any donor partners, but procured by the Liberian government. handed over to the LDA.
Oh, Donald Palmer get some money to they said Donald Palmer get some vehicle to go and check it out.
When?
Don't
It
talk about
was-
that.
Okay.
It was no. It was the government that brought that procured those vehicles when the president had his press conference that he was going to. Listen to me, Chief.
Yeah, Desmond, listen.
When the president had his first major press conference about capacitating the LDA, it was when those Toyota Hilux pickups were procured and turned over to the LDA, not those Durham partners. However, it is, again, he strikes some points that we need to just look at. Again, look, we keep saying this thing. It's like I've been knowing you, Desmond. I don't know you to be, someone engaged in drugs. You're running a private property. You're running your private business. I'm a security personnel, right? And you see me one day say, look, Chief, I think the work that you're doing is good because we're running our own business here. We don't want the guys to come around here and start doing XYZ. However, to be able to, to facilitate your movement, I know you're having logistics challenges. You guys can use my pickup, right? And then maybe 2-3 months after, it's been realized that you are allegedly linked to drug trafficking. How does that in any way shows that I committed a crime because you willingly gifted me a vehicle to use for operations? There is nothing linking that vehicle to be the one maybe trading or peddling drugs from one point to another. So you see, sometimes we make issues out of these things, and I always tell people, when these things go to court, the judges, the jurors, they sit and look at the evidence. How does your evidence line up? You just come and just start assuming that, oh yeah, because this man is allegedly linked to drugs, so whatever that he been doing is linked to drugs. Sometimes that's why many times these cases are just thrown out and the corporate go and walk free because we do not put the parcels together. I'm not saying that Biago is maybe innocent for what happened because his deputy was knocked, and yet it's still alleged that they have involvement into it. If they get indicted and go to court, they still have to prove that their involvement into this matter. Before now, we can come up and say, look, these people are involved. But as it is, like I still say, the presumption of innocence is a constitutional function, is a constitutional mandate within the 1986 Constitution, that the people are still presumed innocent until found guilty before a court of competence jurisdiction.
Okay, so that's one.
Those are allegations.
I just gave you. I would like to have the last round of questions so that we can transition. So go ahead. Do you have anything to say? What Martin and
so that's what I get. For the fact that the LDA boss would not clarify whether there's a great pickup in his convo, and to some extent, he even denied that there was no point in time he received any gift for any individual. Look, there's a difference between acknowledging and getting that, we received from this individual, but that was not given for a particular reason to say, I gave you this pickup to be for you to buttress or for you to provide me some level of consideration. You understand? But for the fact that the LDA boss at a point in time received any gift from any individual.
That's what the man said. Okay. So that's one. Let me ask you the other question so we can transition. We have to transition. Mr. Famule, Mr. Famule, I will come back to Desmond. Desmond, I'll come to you. Be patient. I will come back to you. Should the investigators or the joint security consider what Martin is reporting? I will come to this one on that.
Well, trust me, whatever it is, wherever allegations that have been made, I'm very sure the investigation team will look at it critically. They will analyze the evidence.
Yeah.
And if there is need to be, just yesterday, at the executive mansion, when the president was commissioning marshals of the court, he was very clear that irrespective of your position, wherever you are, if you are involved in this thing, you'll be dealt with according to the law. The president was very clear. So if these allegations are true and they can be investigated, to know that yes, indeed, Biago was aware of this guy activity, and Biago was giving XYZ vehicle to be able to protect this guy, definitely then is a crime. But if at all, and my brother Desmond just going around the bush, but Biago came up today and say he has received no gift from this individual. If anybody receive a gift from him on his behalf, he's not aware,
not authorized,
you know, and he doesn't have no great pickup or so. So somebody showing a video of a great pickup in a convoy in no way shows that that vehicle
okay, Edwin, I'll come
belongs
back.
to
I'll come back to you.
Biago.
Edwin, I'll come back to you. Where do you stand on this one?
Or the OIC never in a write-up never said that he doesn't have any great pickup in his vehicle. He never said it. So don't misquote the public, don't misquote him, or better still mislead the public, Mr. Formula. The OIC never said that.
Yeah. I didn't read it.
What he said, Desmond, I read a statement. Weren't you listening?
I listened to the man when he read the statement.
Weren't you listening, Desmond? I read.
There is no great pickup in his convo. Is that what the OIC said in his statement?
The man said if the DEA, LDA has a great pickup in his possession,
he's not aware of it.
He's not aware of it. He did not authorize it. The receipt of that pickup. If they
so what does that mean?
So I mean that means that he knows nothing about whether
There's another hypocrisy in the revelation of the OIC. Convo that you're using. You say you don't know what are the cars that are in your convo, what one has a great color, you don't know. If you have said, oh look, I don't know how the car came to the LDA, maybe people will see some level of rationale.
Okay, Desmond will talk about that.
So Desmond, the OIC does not have Desmond. I don't speak for these people, but let me say this. The OIC does not have a specific convoy like the president or vice president. Sometimes when they're going on operations, other LDA personnel and other people get into the convoy because they're going on large-scale operations. So to say the OIC has 5 cars convoy, wherever he's moving, those cars go with him, I've never seen it before.
Okay, let me ask Desmond the same question that I asked you. Desmond, should the government or the investigators consider Martin Collins' report or evidence he said he has?
Why not? In fact, it is a major, evidential lead. It is one of the major evidential lead that the joint security should be taken into serious consideration, especially with the car registration. Look at the car, that great vehicle. If it is established based on the video footages, maybe people could say, oh, it's AI generated. In the video that Mandy posted all over the place, that AI generated, they put great pickup on the convo. So the government now, they still needs to investigate to know whether there's a great pickup in the convo of the LDA OIC, or whether, in fact, generally, whether the LDA has a great pickup. Then they got to authenticate the same license plate number that Martin has posted. If that's a same license plate number buried on that vehicle. 2, they got to validate the registration, whose name, whose number that great pickup was on. If all of these, leading factors are being put in place, then the next thing that they're coming to look about is that at what time that vehicle was seen with the LDA, who gifted that vehicle, and if it is established that there's a senior person who gifted the vehicle, for what purpose he gifted that vehicle, and what time it go to the LDA. These are high class.
Okay, Desmond, I got your point. So let's transition, gentlemen. Desmond, I got your point. That is also a good argument. That's one of I agree with you. That's your point. Gentlemen, let's talk about. Let me just remind our listener that this is the Nighttime Heat on Prime FM 105.5. My name is David Tagwe, and the Nighttime Heat is also on YouTube and Facebook. Just type Nighttime Heat and share the show with your family and friends. The Roberts International Airport, Edwin and Desmond, is up for grab for a 25-year concession. That is to say that a private company or group can take it, go into that concession agreement with the Liberian government, and that private group will manage the airport for 25 years, except the government wants to renew it for 25 years. that doesn't mean that the airport is giving, to that private company to own it. The government still owns it. But it's still a good idea for the government to give out the Roberts International Airport to a private firm or group to manage it for 25 years if such a agreement, comes to reality.
Basically, most airports around the world are always run by private companies, and there are reasons for that. And I always say this to people: government everywhere has not been the best managers of these infrastructures, because the reason for that is that government has limited resources in terms of budgetary allocations for these infrastructure. Now, to be able to upgrade the airport, you need a lot of investment in there. The first investment that was made, it was during the regime of Madame Salif, to be able to expand the airport. Up to today's day, we're still paying the loan to the Chinese government for that airport. But David, our airport, for those of us who often use the airport, our airport is not even up to local standards. When you fly to other countries and you go back to Liberia, you see the Roberts International Airport, it looks terrible. So if there are people who want to invest into that infrastructure and they have the resources, I think we need to look at it critically. My only thing is that this whole issue about 25 years concessions, I'm not a fan of that. We did that with the APM terminal, and then sometimes we leave a lot of loopholes into these agreements, and people exploit it these companies exploit it at their own benefit. See what's happening with the APM terminal, how our people are being treated in terms of charges at the even handling containers, the issue of demurrage, how long does a container stay in the port, and then it start acquiring all of the delays. That's what sometimes, actually get me worried when I hear these things happening. I remember during the tenure of the last government, there was discussions about the same thing, but again, it was with another company. It was with a Georgian company or so. And some of our partners were not happy about it because they believe that, these people have some kind of Arab links, and they were also a major users of the airport. So they never wanted, certain people to have access to, I think it was the cargo handling aspect of it.
Yeah.
So they never wanted them to do that. So that aspect of it did not go well. But between you and I, our airport is deplorable.
Yes.
And it needs serious investment. We need to put money in there. Look, I went to Tanzania sometimes, was it last year? Yeah. I was in Dar es Salaam. And I flew from Dar es Salaam to Zanzibar. I came back to Dar es Salaam because you have to use the local,
Airport.
the local terminal.
Okay.
And I say to you, David Tagbe, the local terminal at the airport in Dar es Salaam, the local airport is far better than our international airport in terms of even the conveyor belt, in terms of the whole arrangement,
Yeah.
And I feel very bad. When I came back to Liberia, the Roberts International Airport, we're standing in there, chaotic. You only have one conveyor belt, and to bring in cargo, and everybody just there fighting.
So it's a good idea.
So it's a good idea for a private
to
company.
take it. But what's about
But there should be
25?
some level of
What's-
investment in substantial investment made to be able to bring the airport to international standard. Like I said, the 25 years period maybe is basically based on the time for the investors to be able to recover whatever investment that they want to put in there. Secondly, we need to have people who understand the operations of those kind of things so that they follow up, so that this doesn't just become somebody comes and sign contract and then they don't follow up to be able to upgrade the place, and then we're still at the same place. But I think it's a good idea, but we should be able to put everything in place to be able to actually uplift that airport to bring it up to international standards.
Desmond, what do you think?
So basically, we know in government there is something called open government partnership, especially with government-private partnership. Government will have to privatize some of our institutions to private, rent firms for operation. But let's look at a major government revenue is being privatized by a private firm. Is that a good idea for our country? We just hit first of a kind 1.
Other countries are doing that, Desmond. And so why should Liberia be an exception? Other countries are doing that. You heard Edwin. Other countries are privatizing their international airports, even the sea ports. So what wrong with that if Liberia does this thing?
Have you asked yourself those countries that are private that are privatizing, they are some of the major, institutions, what sort of economy do they have in terms of stable economy? Whether they don't need much pressure on their budget. Have you asked yourself these questions? And we say because America, because another country is doing it, so we gotta do it. Once another country does it, automatically Liberia must do it. Is that the kind of competitive, governance we say we want to do without even?
It is not a matter of Desmond. State funded, they've got to understand your perspective. Look, Desmond, you're talking about modernizing the airport. The government doesn't seem to have the capacity. If the government had the capacity, it wouldn't have been thinking about even giving it out. It would have done it. Like Edwin, I've seen other international airports. Let's just begin with Kotoka International Airport. Reggie Accra there.
Yeah.
Accra, and not to talk about big airports like Dubai and Brussels.
Of course,
there
are private companies running those
so there
airports.
are private companies running them, and so it's something acceptable. It's an international acceptable standard. Policy countries.
I say it's not acceptable. Is that what I said? I'm saying those countries that are privatizing their institutions to private firms. Have we asked ourselves? See, look at the Ghana you're talking about. Have you know the annual budget of Ghana
So what is the point? Is it not a good idea? What is the point?
No, I think he's trying to push that we have money as a government, as a country to be able to invest. Yeah.
So the other countries, don't they have money? They don't have billions of dollars.
In fact, we don't even have the money.
We don't even have the money.
We don't have the money.
Then they are doing it. So what wrong with us that do not have it? Yes, Liberia is struggling over the state building roads to connect the capital.
But to even expand the airport during the tenure of President Salih, we had to go to China, to the Chinese Exim Bank to take $50 million.
So let's give
and
up
to today's date, for 6 years when I'm paying back that loan, the Chinese have to come the other day to be able to actually revisit that whole loan stuff. I think he's having challenges with his internet.
Okay. That's when you say
the Chinese have to come the other day to be able to sit with this current government to see how they can restructure that. You see, I keep saying this thing, and I think Desmond is not getting it. Government has never been a proper manager for these infrastructures. And there are reasons for that. Government has a lot of priorities. Government don't have the money to invest. The level of investment, we can say all about APM Terminal. The level of investment APM Terminal has made at that port, the government of Liberia would have done it in 20 years or 30 years. We don't have the resources. This infrastructure needs massive investment. You don't have it. I just said it. Just to maintain the runway of that airport, do you know how much it costs? Just to maintain the runway. You're talking about international flight coming to your country. The other day, I think I had to call it this Royal Air Morag nearly had a crash at the airport. The president traveled. He was coming back. His plane had an issue on the tarmac. So these are all issues that when you looked at, and people who are knowledgeable about managing this infrastructure, when they come and say, look, give it to us, let's fix it to bring it up to international standards so we can be able to, transform it. Those are good ideas and we should welcome them. Like I said, my only thing is that we need to have people who understand how these things work to be able to follow up on it. Like the Liberia Civil Aviation Authority, there should be people in there that understand how these infrastructure work. Rather than us just having a bunch of people running in there up and down the place. They say, oh yeah, I know how to call it, Liberia Airport Authority. What are they doing? They don't have the resources, they don't have the capacity to be able to do it. Now, what you do, you privatize it, and then but there are certain areas there that still remains under government control. That has to do with the immigration and other services there. Of course, those ones you can't take it away. But for the operations, the maintenance and stuff, I think we should give it out to a private firm because we don't have the
So
resources to do that.
25 years. What does government of Liberia benefit?
Well, we have not seen the concession. We have not
concession.
seen the contract. But like I said earlier in my
No, it's out there.
expose,
Yeah.
like I said in my expose, because it has to go for legislative enactment. The legislators will have to take their own time. They need to invite people who understand those things. They need to look at, the various terms and conditions in the contract, compare it to other concessions that we've done, the APM terminal. There's always something called lesson learned when you actually trying to get involved with these things, because at one point you're dealing with the seaport. Today you're dealing with the airport. So there should be some lesson learned from this concession from APM terminal, that you will not repeat the same mistake with the Liberia Airport Authority. When we were not born, we heard the story that Liberia used to be the hub for West Africa. Many times people are traveling. Liberia was always a destination where they come to get on whatever plane they want to go to Europe, because of our proximity to most of the various areas in the world. So if you have a group of people or a company that has the money and say, look, we think we can make Liberia a hub. We think we have the money we can invest to turn Liberia into a hub in the next 5 or 10 years. Look at that terminal building. Come on, man. Look at that terminal building. And this is one mistake that I think we actually made when the former president decided to expand or develop that airport. Instead of you going for 50 million, you could have gone for $100 million. Did you see what the people did at Kutuka? When we were going to Ghana, back there it was just a small terminal in there. So today the airport at Ghana, Kutuka Airport, it can be compared to any airport in Europe. The massive infrastructure. That's what you call development. And it was not done by just the Ghanaian government. It was done by private people. Now they're out there. They actually.
So in short, it's a good idea.
It's a very good idea.
It's a welcoming idea
Yes.
that every Liberian should also accept. That's when you stay there, right?
Just when you get going to that, then you say you want to stay.
Desmond?
I'm so disappointed, man. David, we conducting this.
Yeah, what? So what? No, they're leaving alone. Yeah, that's fine. So what's that?
You were giving my time while I want to make my point. You keep injecting, and you make that you wrong. What is that?
Yeah. That's one. I'd like you to be. Don't drag this discussion to that.
That's what I mean. You're the partisan. I've never ever woke up.
So that's your time now. Talk about the airport thing we're talking about. It's a good idea. It's a welcoming idea.
I just told you it's not a bad idea normally for government to engage into what we call open, private partnership. But let's ask ourselves, this deal by giving our airport 25 years private firm.
But that hasn't concluded yet, Desmond. It's just out, and no agency or company or firm has come forward yet. The government is just announced. They just put in
but it is the 44th government of the bill. That's the 44th the deal. They only want to. So I'm saying, for the government to have even reached the decision to privatize the airport to a private firm, there must be major indicators. The airport is that how in real essence does it need to be modernized? Are we saying that the government does not have that resources? The airport is one of the major source of government revenue, and the government wants to give it out to a private firm. The same thing the government did with the vehicle registration. Make no mistake. That is exactly what is happening with the whole airport thing. You look at the Ministry of Transport, a major source of government. You took that whole sector, you give it to one private firm called LTM, Liberia Traffic Management, you give it to them, to do that Ministry of Transport. It's just there, just for what we call beautification. People go there and they run over the place more and they pay. Now, we get another serious issue with these concessions agreement in our country, and many times these things are not helping us. They are not helping us. We look at the government recently renewed the concession agreement of BMAT or ArcelorMittal. Go and see some of the damaging reports. Go to Bear Mountain, go see some of the damaging reports for these concessions company want agreements. And like I said, I want to believe that thing when you dig deeper, there are certain few people trying to push for the thing so that whatever company that make, in fact they get a company already, I'm sure that there's companies within somewhere that they're doing it. Oh, we pull the bidder to pull the due up for competitive building process. Somebody interest is already waiting somewhere will come.
That's an assumption. That's an assumption. You assume that's what.
In our country many times this is happening.
That's why you heard that they were doing, but no one has proven that.
The city for the ATMR, we saw it here in the reports. So we're speaking from an informed background, historical research. So I'm saying, let me conclude on this: the issue about giving the airport to private firm. Let's understand how much does that airport need in terms of to get modernized. It's not much. We cannot, as a country,
it's easier to say that it's not much. You just saying that it's not much. You think those who are suggesting this, you think there are no brilliant guys in our country that will see the reason why the government wants to give it out? Is it you that know better than them? There's something they consider and they are talking about. They think it's a good idea. Other countries have done it, it worked. Why shouldn't they be doing like, bro? Why are you, Desmond, you go ahead.
That is why the country, you cannot run a government based on, because other countries have done it, so we can do it. Even if you don't have the capacity, even if there is no will, even if there is no, the indicators are clear that if you do it, the detrimental will be huge. You say, oh, because it is
okay. Thank you, Desmond. I'll come back to you. Desmond, I'll come back to you.
So let me just say to my brother, you see, we often say these things. Sometimes people just assume. Just the tower building at that airport, do you know how much it costs the government to be able to run that system, the navigation system? There have been times where we have flight in our airspace and there was no light at the airport. Those flight had to circle around, sometimes go back to Freetown or somewhere else to land. Is that what we want to be doing in the 21st century? You think to actually run an airport is just like, you going to buy a used car? In fact, for the past almost 100 years, we only had a single runway. On the other countries, just the other day, Kotoka built another runway so you can have two flights down picking up at the same time. You see, these things are not politics. These things are not things that people used to say. We all are saying the same thing. Yes, we've had challenges with these concessions, but we do not have the resources ourselves to be able to build these infrastructures to international standards. So we need to have private partnership, like we're now doing with the Bomi Cape Mile Highway. That's private. That's public-private partnership. And most countries in the world have done these things in terms of infrastructure development, because I don't care what you do, you have constrained with the resources that you get. I hear Desmond saying that the airport is one of our major sources of revenue. No, that's not true. When we look in the budget, the airport is not a major source of revenue for us. How many flight comes through our airspace? How many people even travel from Liberia to other countries? So flight that are coming here is almost like they're doing us a favor. We don't have a huge middle class population that see people traveling up and down. I've traveled through the airport many times. You're traveling in the morning on a car, the flights are barely empty. So let's look at it from the standpoint where people want to develop an infrastructure that will be able to attract people, that will be able to attract tourism. Airlines to say, oh, we need to start flying to Liberia. Do you know why some flight even start coming to Liberia? Delta Airlines, British Airways, those flights used to fly to Liberia, but when they started having difficulties with our runway, they all departed. Because if a single plane, God forbid, have an accident on your terminal, do you know how much it costs that airline? It happened the other day to I said it to this Air Morocco. It cost them millions of dollars to be able to do those repairs. We do not have the resources as a country. We're still struggling. Yes, we talk about, we hit $1 billion. But But do you know what play all that one billion are going to?
Okay, Edwin. Let me go back to Desmond. Desmond, we have to transition. Except you have something to say.
So, let's not forget that I just told you. There's my closing on this. I just told you. First, my opening statement was: it is not bad for government to engage into what we call, public-private partnership, but we must look at the trickle-down impact that will have on our economy. For your information, Mr. Family, apparently you know it and choose to know it. The RRA is one. I said one. I didn't say it's the major. I said one of Liberia's source of revenue. I didn't say it's the major source of revenue. I said one of. So, if you
how much money does the RRA give to the budget every year? Have you gone to the budget?
If you go about privatizing, RRA to a private firm, similar thing that is happening at the Freeport of Monrovia with MPM Terminal, for which barely somebody can even import a car from America, and then they'll tell you 7,000 to free, 8,000 to free, because the government doesn't have any control over that. That is how these things.
So that's not even APM. That's not even what APM Terminal does. So again, you don't even know. Metex Scientific. I come in chief. No. We shouldn't misinform the public. The issue of duty is not done by APM Terminal chief. Desmond, please listen. The issue of duty, the issue of valuing your commodity that you import is not done by APM Terminal. APM Terminal only do handling of cargo at the seaport. The issue of what the cost of your value that you bring into this country is being done by a company called Metex Scientific, which work along with LRA. It is your government Liberia thing. It has nothing to do with APM Terminal, so don't bring APM Terminal there.
Sorry for that. You're right. That Metex now APM Terminal, because I was just there. Somebody a month ago to freedom. Small little Toyota Camry, somebody sent a thing, and the guy is saying that the car is almost the person bought 3,000 in the place that they said that you free for almost 8,000. Are you killing me?
So let's come back to
that Metex.
Yeah, let us not
go out to the airport. The government privatize that private friend. Investing that money.
So in short, Desmond, it's not a good idea. At one point you say it's a good idea, but your analysis you're providing, it's almost contradicting what you said earlier.
Oh, I told you that I'm not against government privatizing or institutions to private firms. I told you that it's not a bad idea. However, let's look at the historic sector surrounding most of the private firms that the government.
Okay, that one we agree with you. The concessions. Okay, we agree with you. Yeah, that's one. We have to transition. Let's transition. Time is running against us. Let's transition. We have two very important topics to talk about here before 10 o'clock. Foreign minister. We have to talk about the foreign minister story that she's also linked today to the drug cartels. We have to talk about Master Key. It's the Master Key, Prophet Key. He stayed in prison. I understand he has written a letter from prison apologizing, expressing remorse for his action. There's something Sabo posted or put in the chat from what that isn't opening out to concerning Prophet Key isn't opening. Can you open that for us? There's something about in the okay, no, let's leave that alone. Okay, this is the issue about the foreign minister. These allegations came, wild allegations against the foreign minister, that the foreign minister has a link to, or also has a link to the cartel. Okay, it's okay, gentlemen. Yeah, so that the foreign minister also has a link to the cartel, or is involved in the trafficking of drugs. Particularly the recently seized cocaine, huge consignment of cocaine, and someone is linking the Minister of Foreign Affairs. The Minister of Foreign Affairs has pushed back, and this is the statement it has written to clarify that all what is being reported on the social media, and even in the local media, in the traditional media, are all baseless and far from the truth. So the foreign minister issued a statement. And yes, the statement, I don't know how long it is. Wow. It's not a key paragraph. So okay, let me just read a portion of that. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has taken note with serious concern of recent attempts by certain individuals to falsely accuse the ministry and its leadership of being involved with drug trafficking in Liberia. Yeah, okay. So instead of reading all that, I'll just be signaled that we have a video on that, and that is good. Let me just read the next paragraph before I ask Abraham to play the video. This ministry categorically and unequivocally reject these baseless allegations. Let's listen to the video. Let's watch the video and see.
President Boyka has led a very focused, a very principled, and a very structured, strategic fight against drugs in Liberia. And the objective is Liberia will not become an narco state. He's always maintained also, President Boyka has said to us at cabinet level, and even in bilateral conversations, he will not run his government in social media. He will not run his government on propaganda. And that clarity of purpose has guided how we engage as well. I will not be speaking today if it were not important. Lies against me, my person, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they have been there since 2023. They are not new. But what is new? What is new is the extent to which these lies undermine the fight against drug trafficking in Liberia. It undermines a highly credible investigation, and it undermines Liberia's positioning in the world. It's a new positioning, and that's new. And so in that regard, then I must speak. Right now, Liberia, I'm proud to say, is coordinating the Africa Fleet at the UN Security Council. We are leading as the Voice of Africa this month, starting August 1. Right now, Liberia is coordinating the E10, the 10 countries that are elected to the Security Council of a 15-member council. We are leading all the non-permanent members this month. So everything that's happening in relation to the Security Council, Liberia is leading the A3 and the E10. This is a major, major position for Liberia. We're the ones driving the conversations, we're the ones being contacted. Last night I had several foreign ministers calling my phone, trying to get us to take different positions and to take different issues to heart from their perspective. This is a huge deal for Liberia. That's leading me, myself, to conduct shuttle diplomacy to different countries. Some you will know about, some you won't know about because of the sensitive nature of global security, global peace and security. We are meeting world leaders. We are moving into territories that are even dangerous sometimes. And some of you remember that you saw me in Sudan, you saw me in South Sudan. I didn't go there because I was on vacation. It's because we're on the UN Security Council. Liberia is a key player, a key voice. We were the ones who served as the bridge this year to save the UN office on West Africa and the Sahel. The only entity that we have multilaterally to engage the Sahelian countries. These are the big things Liberia is doing. These are the things we don't talk about every day because of the sensitivities. But it's important for you all to know that Liberia you love, that's what she's doing on the world stage. After I left Khartoum, I was the first one to meet General Burhan in Khartoum since the war broke out in 2023. And after Liberia left Khartoum, I'm proud to say, African Union went in at our request, and now the UN is back in Khartoum. That's the stuff we are doing in the world. This is not a joke. And so when you talk about Liberia, you're putting things out there, we need to be responsible in how we shape the view of Liberia. We're not the same Liberia we used to be. We're not the same Liberia we used to be. Be proud of the Liberia we have today. Be proud of President Boyka's leadership, and be proud of what Liberia is doing in your name. We've not been in that position for decades. And because of the UN Security Council, the critical role we're playing, I could pick up the phone and I could call to speak with President Trump's advisor on Homeland Security. And at the request of the IG for police, thanks to him for his leadership, and Director Gay, who gave me the talking points, I was able to, after I called them, I received a call from the White House Situation Room in the National Security Council of the United States. And I gave them the points that were necessary after the $90 million bust. And that's how we got boots on the ground from the USDA to help us to get to where we are. This is not a joke. President Boyka is not joking about his fight on drugs. And this is not a joke for the Liberian people, especially the children unborn. Because we are preserving a state that will deliver results for the people of Liberia. The fact of the matter is that when you try to deflect on the
Okay, that's the foreign minister. That after that video would have gone straight to the denial of the ministry regarding the allegation brought against that government ministry and the minister, Cyril Beslo Nyanti. But she struck some important points about Liberia's role in the international community, the leadership role Liberia is playing. And at the time, the government is fighting, the war against drug trafficking and other things. There are reports, the allegations, widespread allegations and other statements that she thinks have the tendency to undermine Liberia, even to undermine the ongoing investigation into the drugs thing, and also painting the country judicial system, painting the bad to the international community. And the way she sounds, that is to say that she's absolutely frustrated.
Yeah. So let's not take this away from the minister. Minister Beslo Nyanti has been one of the best performing ministers in this government. Mm-hmm. And she continues even up to today's date. These were some of my concern about the way some members of the media, basically those on the social media platform, mm-hmm. has been trying by all means to bring people who have reputable character, who serve over time, bring that reputation to public disrepute on these whole allegations of involvement in drugs. I even listened to her statement about they trying to implicate certain diplomatic sector, diplomatic embassies of being involved in bringing in suspicious cargoes and all this stuff. She was also trying to remind them of the Geneva Convention as to what covers, the immunities that these people carried. However, that in itself does not prevent them from scrutiny if they are involved in illegal activity, and they themselves also know. But to come out and just start pointing finger at someone like Minister Beslo, who has worked her way through this whole government process trying to build a better image for the country, I think it sounds very, very ugly on the part of those journalists and those individuals who actually try to link this woman. And she's been one of the voices I've been listening to out there. As you listen to her, she pick up the phone and call people within Washington, D.C. And the next day, she was able to get respond, and the United States government dispatched people to Liberia to come and assist with this whole process. These are the kind of leaders that President Boyka has that actually pushing the national agenda of this country. And I think they should be given some level of respect and dignity in their work they do. Sometimes we spin everything around politics because somebody wants to make somebody look bad. So they just try to say, oh man, this person is involved. This person is involved. Like in the word of Desmond, that because somebody alleged that there was a pickup given to Biago. So irrespective of whether it's true or not, Biago should be dismissed. Or because somebody said, since elements within the police have been, quote unquote, indicted for their involvement in the $370 million drug case. So it means that the police director should be indicted too and be investigated or so. That's not how you run a country. You are not running a Boy Scout. You are running a country.
Okay, let me go to Desmond.
And people have the integrity to protect people who have worked over time, people who have worked themselves up to preserve the image of this country. They deserve some level of respect.
Okay, Desmond, you heard the foreign minister, and you one way or the other even though she spoke about some other things regarding the role Liberia currently plays in the international community, being on the, how to call it, being a,
The UN Security Council
being on the UN Security Council, see the role Liberia plays, the leadership role Liberia plays. So the kind of thing coming out of Liberia, they don't reflect a good picture of the country. But however, you heard I briefly read the reaction of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, reaction to allegations linking the minister or the ministry as a whole to drug cartels. What do you say about this reaction of the Minister of Foreign Affairs?
So basically, she was trying to, the minister was trying to inform the public about some of the success stories surrounding her leadership at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That was great. We cannot take that for all. But let's discuss the real issues, right? She said a lot of interesting things that the video you played didn't capture it.
Yeah, they didn't capture it.
Yeah. Try to throw some spin on some of the things she said. However, it was about she, as a foreign minister, led opposition, sanctioning the illegal, transportation of narcotics by some of our foreign missions here in our country. That has been an allegation in the public glare for some time now. So for her to speak about it, it's important to clarify.
Okay, Desmond. Actually, Desmond, you continue. I'm not cutting you off. But there's something the ministry's statement mentioned. It called a diplomatic porch. Diplomatic porch. It's something like it's a secure, legally protected container used to transport official correspondence, documents, and government items between an embassy, consulate, and its home country under international laws. Host countries cannot open, search, or delay these kind of containers. Nothing.
Yes, exactly. So
that's a clarification she's providing. Is it this is why the foreign ministry or the government of Liberia, or those at the Rabos International Airport or those at the seaport, are not opening containers belonging to embassies, consulates, or international people in the diplomatic cycle. Such containers cannot be opened or searched at the ports of entry. She said it's the best international practice.
Yeah, and I think
so the suspicion that, yes, so people are raising the suspicion that the ministry is, allowing foreign missions, people working with foreign missions are bringing in drugs.
The minister also said in our press briefing that why the sushi, she cannot speak on behalf of those foreign missions, but it is upon those who are making the allegations
to provide evidence. And then you think she's quite correct. Those who make any kind of wild claims, these kind of claims should be accompanied by evidence.
She's quite correct. And if you understand the way our diplomacy works, you cannot accuse a foreign diplomat in your country of bringing in narcotics when you don't have evidence. That alone can hamper the relationship of your country, with that country of whom that diplomat is representing. So she also talked about the diplomatic porch. That is about the Geneva Convention that talks about. I think Mr. Family told us to a little spin on it, but let me dive into details. It talks about some level of entitled privileges these people enjoy.
I've just read that Desmond. I don't think we should go into that. I just read that these kind of diplomatic containers or we cannot categorically say simply because diplomat containers coming to our country cannot be said, or they are not allowed to be searched by security apparatus. So obviously we will assume that these people bringing in narcotics. If for any reason we have the evidence, those especially making these claims have the evidence, should be able to support the investigation,
by saying, oh, Embassy S, Ambassador Wow. These people brought in consignment at so time, and these are the pieces of evidence. Joint security, please go in and investigate. It will help the investigation. But for me, I don't support from the onset. I don't support making these kind of blanket allegations in the absence of evidence, which I think it does not support good governance. It will not investigation.
Okay, thank you, Desmond. Thank you, Desmond.
Where there is that investigation take place.
Okay, Desmond and Edwin, you said something. I wouldn't put it directly as you put it, but if you notice, Edwin and Desmond, if you notice, every day that comes, someone is accusing another person of having the link, most especially in the names of who I would call high-profile people in our society. When it first started, there was an attempt to link the vice president, Jeremiah Kun, and then the Boakai's family, President Boakai's family, President Boakai's son, and to some extent, President Boakai himself. And the other day, again, the police director is also, was also accused of having the link. And now we're talking about Biako. Now we're talking about Minister of Foreign Affairs. What do you think is going on? Is this someone? What do you think is going on? Why people continue to call names? And you heard what I said about the Justice Minister's statement, right? The Justice Minister said in a statement that the joint security, the investigators, or the government will not go after people that start arresting people because somebody out there says that person is linked, and anyone making such allegations should accompany them with evidence. So the government will not be engaging in that. So what's going on? Why people are calling names, calling all these names, linking them to these drug traffickers or cartels?
So basically, these are major events within our political space. So you'll find out, you will realize politicians or those within political parties will want to use this as a spin to actually tarnish the reputation of the government, irrespective of whether somebody is involved. The idea of the opposition is to make sure that they get almost everybody who they see as people contributing to the forward march of the Boakai's administration, to see them as, being the bad apples, and like I said in my opening comment, this whole issue of trying to prove people guilty before, the court of public opinion. That's what most of our friends in the opposition tries to do. So the whole idea is that if the government is making gains in another area, basically, let's try to see how best this whole $300 million drug issue can pull them down to, linking some of the major players within the government to make, link them to it, try to spin it out there to the public and say, oh, but these are the people who are involved with the drugs, even if they don't have any evidence. However, I don't want to believe that the government or the president is going to yield to that, because those are all political theatrics that people play, around here.
Well, Desmond, do you agree with Edwin?
No, basically, when people try to speak out, especially in the midst of this kind of investigation, where the government is not speaking timely, the government is not speaking effectively, the government is not telling the 11 people.
So, Desmond, when you talk about government not talking timely, what does that mean? You expect the government to talk tomorrow morning,
every day,
and it doesn't talk, and it talk the next afternoon, and the next day in the afternoon. It's not the same talking. I think the government has its own timing. The security people have their own timing in terms of putting out, report or speaking about an ongoing investigation. There's something that has to be well calculated, and not just wanting to talk. Because Desmond wanted to talk this morning, because they didn't talk, they talk in the afternoon, so they not stay talking. Desmond.
So, David, this is the thing, right? It doesn't matter about when Desmond. It doesn't matter about when Desmond wants the joint security to speak. Isn't it necessary for the joint security to update the Liberian people regularly? That is the question. Let's ask ourselves. Currently, do you know how many alleged
Well,
suspects
qualified
have been
regulatory.
charged?
every day.
Do you know how many alleged suspects have been charged? No, simply because the
So
government
you
has not
have
communicated.
how frequently do you want these updates to be given by the security sector? How often do you want? And an hour every day, 2 days after, 2 days after, then the government comes with an update. How frequent do you want them?
As often as they are important. The government should communicate.
But just this one Thursday, when was this guy indicted from private bar? Wasn't it this week?
That same week, yeah, early
So
this
it
week.
was, yeah, it was this.
Minister
So
was the one who even
it
broke
was
that
this
story.
week. Hello. So
Yeah.
the government,
It was
the
Minister
government
of
charged.
Information, right?
Yes.
It was a minister
At the regular press
the
briefing.
minister of,
No, it was not Thursday.
It was
It
on
was- it was-
Tuesday.
It was on
Thursday.
Tuesday.
It was on Tuesday.
It was on Tuesday.
So now listen, from Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, today is 3 days, right? But we saw the police presence at the private bar. What they want to do there, the government has not spoken about that. You see, it is not the right of the Liberian people to know exactly in the absence of
Okay, Desmond. Okay, Desmond.
In the absence of
We have 12 minutes.
barricading the business.
Yeah, okay, Desmond, we got your point. 12 minutes to 10 o'clock. And this is a reminder that you're listening to the night time Eden
I would
Prime
never
FM, Prime FM 105.5, and we're also on Facebook and YouTube. Just type night time. He shortly will be opening the lines. Let's talk about the Prophet Key thing. Prophet Key has been in prison for quite a long time now. And I think he was there for six months, right? He was sent to prison
He
for
was
6 months.
yes, he was sent to prison for 6 months.
6 months, I understand.
And the
that.
6 months elapsed this month.
This month. Okay, so that is nearing an end for Prophet Key to leave prison. But there's something about it. And there's something about it. Let me see. Sorry for that. There's something about the Prophet Key thing. No.
So let me just explain it. I think I saw
yeah.
that stuff yesterday. I think
Yeah.
one of the online platform had that information. So basically-
okay, that his stay at the central prison could be extended. Stay at central prison for failure to comply with the Supreme Court's precondition for its release.
Well, I think people are just trying to spin it, and Prophet Key was sent to prison based on contempt charges from the court.
Yeah.
That in itself has its own definite sanction that was given to him, and he was also told that he had to do, I think, some kind of apology. He wrote that apology a few days ago. I think it was out or so. However, I'm quite sure that based on that, once the 6 months elapse, Prophet Key will be released. I don't want for us people to spin it and say, "Oh no, he will have to stay a longer time." This is a contempt charge. This is not basically like he went into some kind of he committed some kind of crime and he went for trial. He was found guilty and has been asked to serve a specific term. This was basically contempt of the Supreme Court based on comments that he made against the justices and the Chief Justice. So in the wisdom of the Supreme Court, Prophet Key was given 6 months imprisonment and also asked to write an apology letter to the women of Liberia and also to the court. And once he's satisfied that he's not going to stay in jail beyond, he's not going to stay behind bar beyond the stipulated time
Okay, let me go to
given to him by
Desmond.
the court.
Desmond.
Well, so the thing about Prophet Key, I mean, as far as we know, concerned, Prophet Key should be concluding 6 months of imprisonment based on his contempt charges from the Supreme Court. So anything on contrary, that means that the public should be, that information should come clearly either from the court, or better still from the Supreme Court or from the justice in chambers. But until then, there has been no information suggesting that the Supreme Court has extended the Prophet Key period failure to comply to the terms and conditions given to him by the court. what we know, there have been apology letter all over the place circulating in the media, suggesting to have emulated from Prophet Key, so. But I mean, the family of Prophet Key said themselves they are in high spirit of receiving their relative by the end of this month. So
But
that's
there were
that,
preconditions set. That's one the preconditions set by the court, and you heard Edwin making reference to that, writing a letter of apology to the Supreme Court or to Chief Justice Yemi Basi, or and to the Liberian woman that he insulted, or he was always insulting. And so those preconditions were given by the court. I'm also hearing that he has written that apology. Whether that has been received by the relevant authorities or not, that's what we don't know, or I don't know. Any idea on that? That Prophet Kid has written the two apology letters of apology, one to the Supreme Court and one to the women of Liberia.
he has written. I have seen personally an apology letter on social media,
Okay.
or what apology letter as to whether it is originated from Prophet Key, that which I don't know, and secondly, whether as part of the conditions given to him by the court, whether that letter to that apology letter should be placed in newspapers, that which I don't know as well, and if for any reason you talk
No,
about,
man, you don't know. You are an investigative journalist, man. Desmond. You don't know. You don't know what.
The man get them a breaking matter.
appears laughable for you as a journalist, whether you as a
No, you are an investigative journalist. That's why you would have gotten all these.
issue I was investigating. Is that what I told you? How does that benefit in
I mean, I just try to put your life somewhere. Desmond, as far as I'm concerned, you always announce it as investigative journalist. So
Desmond is interested in government issues.
so
He's not interested in.
So shortly, I'll be
issues.
reading. I'll be announcing the numbers. Do we have the numbers now in the phone call, right?
my press
You are interested. I say you are interested in government issues, not perfect key
So
issues.
so shortly, okay, these are the numbers.
You didn't investigate
Let
government.
me call the numbers. Desmond and Edwin, please give me a chance. Let me call the numbers. Desmond, I'll come back to you. Let me read the numbers shortly. The phone lines will be opening, and you can call on 086 050 507, 086 050 507. You can also call on 0778 460 793, 0778 460 793, or 086 050 507. Those are the numbers. Short, they'll be opening the line. That's my line on that one, so we can open the lines quick.
So, but on the letter, what Prophet Key apology was received, those who supposed to receive it, I don't know about what means, because the man, he doesn't leave on the letter to the How is that going to be? That which I don't know. But what I do know, and I think I can say, is that there was a letter in the public being emulated from Prophet Key.
Did you go check beyond that letter? You are an investigative journalist. Did you go beyond? Did you go beyond that letter to find out what it received by the Supreme Court?
That strange vessel that came on the Liberian water that is going in house.
They be only interested in government issues. It's not interested in.
That's one. Okay. Okay. So that's one. Have you landed on that, right?
We've already solved the issue of that screen vessel. So don't worry about it. Go and investigate the perfect key letter.
That's why you're having a problem with your line.
That's why I say we've already finalized on the screen vessel issue. We've asked for assistance from our counterpart in Nigeria and other parts. So I ask you to please go and investigate the perfect key letter to know whether the letter actually came from perfect key from the Monrovia Central Prison.
Okay, so the numbers to call again 086 050 507, 086 050 507, or 0778 460 793, 0778 460 793. Are the numbers are going to be a part of the conversation. We're talking about the Prophet Key thing. So you assuring us that Prophet Key in the shortest possible time. By the end of this month, will be leaving prison.
I'm very sure because the decision to send Perfect Key to jail, like I say, it was based on contempt charges by the Supreme Court, which of course he was given a specific time for sanction, so definitely he will be out.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I'm sure that Perfect Key, having met the conditions set by the Supreme Court, should be out at the end of his sentence.
Okay, so do you think that has taught him? Okay, let's take this first caller. Good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
Oh, the phones
I
are
think
just,
the phone's having a problem.
just going off tonight.
Just what's going
Yes,
on
you're
and off.
saying something.
So I said, does it teach him a lesson or a set of precedents set for others who may do the same thing he did?
Obviously, it is a license for him, and nobody. I strongly believe nobody wants to
I
go to
hope this
jail.
one doesn't go off. Good evening. Hello.
Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. So what's your name?
Okay, this is Adolphus Movo in the court from St. Paul 16th Street.
Good to hear from you, sir.
Thank you ever so much. Let me say thank you to your platform guest. I think I've been fortunate to start the program, the inception of the program,
Okay.
to this very moment. So I have been following, cutting across the different discussion points. First of all, let me just say this, that in my own opinion, you haven't been doing well enough for Desmond. The leverage as regards the discussion, Anthony Formula have benefited a whole lot. Desmond have been interrupted to some extent. I think you heard him, he came out and said that he's disappointed.
Yeah, he
and
said
quite
that.
frankly, yeah, you haven't been doing well for him as
The moderator,
actual-
the moderator. Okay.
Yeah, on the regarding the discussion. So I just care to register that.
Okay.
Now
Now,
to
okay.
the
I
issue.
acknowledge your concern.
Thank you. Now to the issue regarding Martin Cody read out and that of the ORC at DEA. Let us be very much careful when we have relationship with people. We come in the public to discuss issues and sometimes try not to take a position that will present us in a way that shows probably we have not been there for the person or we are not there for the person. I say this to mean, even from response from a lot of people after Martin came up with his own side of the story. The act of blind loyalty is dangerous for our society. Nobody is saying with the allegation led by Mountain, the ORC Baguio should be persecuted. You cannot go through persecution without being investigated. So the first thing is to authenticate, to verify those informations that have been sent out by Mountain.
Okay, that's quite all right.
Definitely. Baguio came and said that he has no idea as to whether there's a great pickup in his convoy. If there is a great pickup, he does not know how it got there. He did not authorize any other person to receive a great pickup.
That's exactly what he said.
That I have problem with. And then I listened to
And let's deal with this one first. Let's deal with it
I
one
come-
first.
yeah.
That I want you to learn on this one that he said he
Yes, so
doesn't.
I'm learning now. I'm
Okay.
learning. The informer told him there in studio, I hailed him. He actually provided a lot of insight that I appreciate. But let me just provide this information as well. Administratively, there is no way that pickup will be in the cycle of DEA, LDEA.
Yeah.
And Biago as the ORC will not have the slightest idea whether it was done through donation, whether it was just a gift. He has full knowledge as to how that pickup entered the sighting of LDEA.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Time is 9 in favor. That's a very good point. A very good argument. Yeah. That's a very good argument.
It's
So,
fair enough.
uh-huh.
It's fair enough that Baguio resign and be called over by the Ministry of Justice for investigation.
okay. Thank you very much. I think you've landed now. Call today. Desmond, you listen to the caller. Do you agree with him?
I agree with him in multiple times with bonus, because this is some of the
Okay.
things that
No, go ahead. Don't forget about Edwin laughing.
that integrity questions the ORC should be answering. That's why I said it's laudably lazy. That response, if communication advisor to ORC, I would better advise him to come up with something with it. You know, that was a very lazy response. You cannot come up with a response indicating a serious, sensitive allegation involving your leadership. And you're telling the public that they may have pulled out one or more different video footages about the career pickup, even to the sensitive by you, behind him, on us one dispute tournament. Other one you coming from inside, the other one in cover is saying that, oh, you don't know anything about great pickup, what is there, you don't know who gave it, nothing, other kind of thing. I say that I mean, for me, that is being hypocritical. You know, that is hypocrisy in his testimony. And that's why I said at this point, I support the view that he should not be dismissed, which would be very.
Okay, we have 2 minutes. We have 2 minutes to go. So land on that one now, so we can come to our closing comments. Yeah.
Voluntarily resign, and then maybe for investigation, in order for transparency and accountability in terms of public confidence to be nurtured into the investigation.
Okay, Jasmine. So the caller raised some very important points.
So I keenly listened to the caller, and I strongly believe he put some point forward.
Yeah.
But let me say this: we all alluded to the fact here that if there is any criminality that is established, Martin Colley should present whatever evidence he has.
This other caller. Oh wow, we lost it because it just
whatever evidence he has, Martin Colley should pass it on to the Ministry of Justice for onward investigation.
Okay, so let me take the other caller, Edwin. Good evening.
Good evening, my great brother.
Yeah, go ahead, sir. What's your name?
I'm Bishop I Jr. from Capital Bypass.
Thank you for calling. Go ahead.
Okay, it is important that you guys came up with this kind of discussion for us to be opportune to a little bit give our insight.
Yeah, okay, so be brief now. Time is right after the run again, so go ahead. I gave you 1 minute.
Okay, thank you, sir. You know, the police is one of the best factors that have to provide information when it comes to this case. And then I agree with everything that you guys are saying, but I prefer the police. And then, you know, when it comes to a Prophet Key case, it is an opportunity for Prophet Key to stop what he is doing, you know, in this kind of country that we are living in, where we are trying to teach our children education that will benefit them for the future. And then his message always come with things that will always incite the youth to violence. So I pray that he will change from that.
Thank you very much. Desmond, let's get your closing comments, please.
Sorry.
I
was in flight trying to respond to the caller.
The caller, yeah.
We said,
we don't have much time,
yes, we said where criminality is established, Martin should send his evidence to the Ministry of Justice, rather than using the court of public opinion in order to be able to bring these people to public disrepute. And it is now Martin's words against the words of Biago. Irrespective of what Martin says or Biago says, Martin videos are not they are not proof of guilt. All right. So if Martin has any tangible evidence that the vehicle was given to Biago,
and you are closing on this
to support, to support this guy who quote unquote is allegedly involved with the drugs boss, then definitely Biago has questions to answer. And let me say this clear: I've never met him. I don't know Biago. I've never seen anywhere or so. So I have no relationship for somebody to say, oh, because of your relationship with the person you tried to sue them. I don't know these people from anywhere.
Okay, so
I've never met them anywhere in my life.
Comment, Edwin, so we can.
Well, it was a good show as always, and I'm glad to be here. Monday I will be out because I'm going for my admission in Grand Cape County.
Okay, so this one, whatever comments you're about to make, they're closing comments.
So, I mean, under the law, it is not wrong to receive a gift from a private citizen. Let's get it clear. What is wrong analyzes the intent of which the gift is being given. If I giving a gift to a police director or giving a gift to a law enforcement officer with the intention that I'm into something criminal, then that alone makes my gesture criminal. So I'm saying the OIC may not have knew the intention of the guy who gifted him the paper, or better still, not knowing that this paper is being brought forth from somebody who is into narcotics. However, but for the OIC to open it, state that he does not. In fact, there is no great pickup in his convo. That is being very disingenuous. There would be a better way he could say, "Oh look, maybe there's a great pickup in my convo, but what are the great pickup came from a drug capone? That which I don't know. But what I do know, there's a great pickup in my convo. It was gifted by some other people. If that is the truth, then people come to understand that what becomes the intent of the guy who gives that the gift. But for him to categorically condemn and deny that there is no great pickup in this convo. I've seen several videos for the where the great pickup is in the convo. In fact, even setting and the great pickup is at his back, it shows to some level of being hypocritical. And let me close
Desmond. Okay, Desmond, you're close now. Go ahead, Desmond, close.
Yeah, close on this. Like there's a lesson for Prophet Key. I can say to you clearly, this is a precedence on the librarian's soul. But whether it becomes a lesson for Prophet Key, there is something that people say. They say, put what in your head, don't put what in your blood. Simply because.
Yeah, simply because. Okay, Desmond, I think let's close on that. Your internet is giving you a hard time. Let me say thank you to our many listeners and viewers, Edwin and Desmond. And let me also acknowledge those who are watching and following this show. Imaya Bro is watching from Minnesota or Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Hakeem Jabe is watching from the port city of Buchanan. Ophelia S. Josh is following from home, from a residence. Also watching this Chadra Gorman. I'm watching live from Yekipa, Nima County currently. Diallo Semanin. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name the right way. It's also following. City Jik is following. Ibrahim V. Yen is watching from the Gardnersville belt of Monrovia. And Darling Prince is watching from Adams North District of Ashanti region, West Africa. That is in Ghana. Vinicia J. Ba is also watching. Thanks for watching, for following the show. Thank you for also sharing the show. My name is David Taber. Good night. Good night to Edwin, Desmond. And I guess Moses was following, but he's busy and couldn't join us. Josh Kennedy, wherever you are, I guess you say you were in Buchanan, Grand Bassa County. I hope that you are also following. Thank you for everything. Abraham, thank you for taking care of the technical aspect of the program. Good night and have a good day.